Hello,
Hello, James.
Eric. How are you?
Good, man. Let me turn this on there. Cool. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Can't. I mean, the world still sucks, but right.
Oh,
Uh,
same as it ever was.
it's so funny. I was thinking about this, and then we can get started. But I was like, I talked to I've talked to Roger way back in April of last year, and then I talked to Tim in December, and I was like, there's no way I would have thought when I was talking to you in August this would still be the dynamic we're in. It just sucks,
Yeah,
right?
no. It's every day is a just seems to settle into this routine of depression. Just this you can feel it in the air, sort of thing. I mean, I think people are trying to live their lives the best they can, but yeah, it's just interesting times, right?
Yeah, totally. Do you want any background on me, or you just want to delve in?
Well, yeah. Tell me a little bit. I'm haven't really uh, seen your show before, so
No, I didn't expect you to do any homework, Eric. I'm not. I'm good. No, I have been doing this for about 2 years. But a million years ago, my undergraduate degree was in broadcast journalism. And then I went on to grad school and did other things. And I just it started pre-COVID. It was only Kansas City musicians because I really felt like we had a cool music scene and nobody was talking about it here. And then once COVID started, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Because I'd been doing these all in person. And Roger actually was on Facebook kind of bemoaning that there was nothing going on. And I was like, hey, Roger, if you got nothing going on, want to be on my podcast? And he said, yes. And now it's just started. So that's it. And then I just said, I play a little guitar. I actually have a 90s tribute band going on. And we also do an acoustic duo stuff. So it's kind of fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you said you were a musician, so
Yeah, I'm playing tonight.
oh,
So
you are?
yeah,
Good.
acoustic show. Try to keep everybody, I wish there was like garlic for like vampires, keep people, the first second I could get vaccinated, I did. And, Kansas City is this little blue dot of niceness, and we're surrounded by 2 states of knuckleheads. So it's just, anyway. So,
Well, it's quite interesting, really, because since all of this began, and for everyone that was already doing file sharing and online podcasting, um, I've found that I've been busier than ever. Of course, we're doing the Licorice Quartet as well,
right.
but I'm booked up all of August playing out gigs,
Good.
a lot of corporate privates and stuff like that. So I don't know if what the dynamic holds for live music. I hope that it can come back in full force, but right now, at least, I'm busier than ever. It's crazy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear
Won't
that.
complain.
That's great. No, well, I really appreciate you being on the podcast Trading Fours. I've been aware of you, Eric, for a really long time. I won't say how long. We're both only like what, 32, right? That's what we're
Yeah,
gonna,
something around that
that's
area.
what we're gonna tell everybody, right? But I think a really fun place to start was I had Damon Johnson on the podcast, and I asked Damon this, and I'm going to ask you because what is there something in the water in Alabama? Because what's up with you two guys who are amazing guitar players and also can sing your asses off? Like, what's the deal, dude? What about Alabama?
Well, I think probably a lot of it has to do. I mean, there's a rich musical heritage there, of course, but there's just not a lot to do. Also, let's face it, unless you're an outdoorsman or inclined to more that proclivity. So playing music and picking guitars is something. Well, Damon, he started out so early. He's from Geraldine, Alabama, um, and that's near Huntsville. And yeah, there's just it's sort of similar to Nashville in the way that you can throw a rock and you'll find somebody in the local community that just kills on instrument. Um, Huntsville is a great example. There's a lot of really good players in Huntsville, I noticed. But anywhere you go, Birmingham, Jasper, which is my hometown, all the way down to Mobile.
That's great. I actually transcribed this from the podcast. I thought this was such a nice quote. I wanted to read this to you and get your reaction. So this is what Damon said about you. He said, Eric is indeed from Alabama, but he is not of this earth. He's got some other stuff going on. He's been touched by some wizard. I mean, he's got some other skill set that I just don't know anyone else like him. again, man, I've worked with a lot of talented people with lots of talent. I can't name 2 or 3 other people that have the skills that Eric does.
Wow, that's really amazing coming from him. I mean, Damon and I go so far back, and I really feel the same way about him. I mean, he's been able to play with so many great, like legendary bands. You know, his uh, his instincts are so on point. I mean, we're just old friends, you know. I mean, we played a tribute for the NAMM show off of the premises for an AC/DC tribute that Brian Tishy had put together, and that's the first time we'd seen each other in a long time, and you know, it feels like home when you're around your old buds. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
No, that's
yeah,
great. That I just thought it was so nice. It's like I got to read it to you because what a cool thing to have somebody say about you.
that's amazing. I'll have to you know, send him some Nando's or something.
Well, obviously, we're here mostly to talk about the Licorice Quartet. I had Tim on, I've had Roger on, and now I have you on. And I think a really good place to start with you is, so let's talk a little bit about this creative process when you guys decided that you were going to be doing this together. And it's kind of a whole different dynamic, right? Because in the Jellyfish days, it was just Roger and Andy pretty much that was doing the music writing. But in this one, you guys came in as equals. So can you talk to me a little bit about what intrigued you about it, getting back with Tim and Roger? I mean, a long time after the 93 tour.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, originally they had Tim and Roger got on the phone. I think, I don't remember who called who first, but was like, "What are you doing? Can we make some music together, possibly?" And then they called me later, but we were, I don't know if you're familiar with a band of Tim's called the Yuma Jets.
Yeah.
Uh, we'd done some songwriting together. We'd kind of toyed around with it even in Jellyfish, you know, because I think we all pretty quickly upon meeting each other became very kindred and close in at least a lot of musical influences. Um, so you know, we had always wanted to explore that, and then Roger and I, of course, did the Imperial Drag record in '96. So we were able to do a collaboration, and then after that, that ended. Uh, you know, just time. You know, you're living life, you're having families, or doing whatever, making music with other people. You know, Roger's quite a busy man too, and then I've done things along the way, make Sextus records, and so you know we're all kind of have our hands in different pies, our fingers. So it just kind of turned out that in 2017 it was like, hey, let's think about making music together, and it kind of went after that pretty organically.
Yeah, because you guys have posted a bunch of stuff online, kind of behind the scenes stuff. There's like a funny thing where I think it's you that's trying to hit a really high note and you say you may have busted a nut or something like that. But it just seems like you guys were really having a lot of fun with it too, correct?
Oh, it was again, it's like with Damon, you know, it's your old friends, and when you're able to come back in a context where you know you're going to do something creative, and you know there's an energy in the air that tells you that, it's all fun, and challenging too. I mean, this was an immense challenge to do this record, um, and you know we're just putting the finishing touches on the 30p that we're going to be releasing in a month or two. So we have to do that from home in our studios, unfortunately. But when we were able, you know, initially we were getting together in person, which is the best way. And coming at it as equal songwriters, it was just throwing things on the wall and seeing what stuck with everyone, kind of collectively speaking, you know. And then we sort of started to develop the songs, choosing them and refining them, writing different parts. But that all starts with just in the room together, you know. I miss it because it's just the instant feedback.
Right. So it's just one of those. So let's take one of your songs, like the Dream That Took Me Over song. I'm probably getting the name wrong.
No,
So do
that's
you
right.
so you come in with the riff, Eric? Do you have all the lyrics done? Did you have the bass part, or did Tim come up with the bass? Like how much is on you by yourself that you bring this to the guys, and how much does it become a collaboration between the three of you?
Well, it becomes a collaboration through and through. Excuse me. And the reason it does, uh, we really don't go into it starting out with a preconceived notion that it has to be this arrangement or that arrangement. You start with this fresh uh, palette, so to speak. So the music is up to interpretation. You know what I mean? So somebody goes, "Hey, I feel it kind of this way," and then we kind of collaborate like that, writing parts out, or do you like this feel here? How do you like, shop talk, if you will? I guess that's what you want to call it. And just uh, chasing something together for a while until we come to a point where we feel it's you know good to go.
Yeah, because it's like a painting, right? You at some point you got to say it's done. Like you don't want to add any more. It'll become a point that if you add more, it actually will detract from it.
Yes, and we all try to be very super aware of that. Um, so there's a point where it's done. I mean, I think now that we're older too, we can see that a lot easier than when we were younger and
Yeah,
going, I need to put this blue box guitar riff here, because people are gonna go. That's not gonna do it if the song isn't there. And we were trying to just stay in the songwriting realm as hardcore as possible, and that is from traditional means of writing bridges or transitions, or is this going to be an aria, is this going to be an odyssey,
right. And Tim's out in Atlanta, right? So that's part of the equation too. That even when you were doing it in person, you'd have to fly in, and you'd have to probably have a short amount of time that he was in town. Correct?
yeah, but we were able to get it done rather quick as far as the songwriting goes, because uh, you'd spend 8 or 10 hours together. We did it in my studio garage when I lived in Northridge, which I don't
Okay.
live there anymore.
What part of town are you in
So
now?
I'm in Burbank
Okay.
currently,
And where's
but
Roger? Is he close? I mean, LA is so huge. Is he close to you? Is he a long way from
yeah,
you?
he's about 25 minutes away from me. Uh, he's like Highland Park area, somewhere like that. But yeah, getting Tim out here, that was the only, that was a bit of a, he dealt with it. He came out here anytime we needed him. Then we had Jeremy Stacy that played drums on the record. So he's a busy man from the UK. So managed to grab him for a few days. He just was amazing to work with.
Yeah, and I just saw you guys posted something he got, and he's on tour with somebody, and he also got some award, right? Was that what I saw on the Licorice
Yeah,
Quartet?
he's on tour with King Crimson.
That's right.
I'm not sure what award that he's won because I haven't been on social media lately, but
Smart
he
man.
deserves a lot of awards. I mean, and again, he's an old friend from Jellyfish days. Um, so uh,
Well,
I've never met a drummer really that has well, he has such a beautiful collection, but he also knows which drums to choose for the occasion so well, and his sense of dynamics. I mean, just all across the board.
that's great. So when's the third EP going to be out? You said about a month. How many tunes on it?
It's another 4 tunes. Um, we well, finished in a month to send to mastering. And I have to say offhand right now, or first off, that uh, because of the situation globally, all the supply chains are backed up. So we're having to try to deal with all of that in the middle of releasing this EP. We do have some exciting news to share, but we're not quite ready to share it yet. Uh,
Okay.
but it is concerning the third EP, of well, all of the EPs, but can't really talk about it much. It's good news. Um, but we're looking at probably it's probably going to be a longer rollout than we had hoped for. So patience,
Yeah.
hopefully.
That seems like that's unfortunately the catchword for both last year and this year. You got to be real patient about a lot of things, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, yeah, you have to, and you also gives you time to work on other things as well. But um, yeah, the supply chains for vinyl production right now are, I think the yearly demand is 150 million units,
Wow.
and right now the demand is 300 million, and it's just all backed up until next year. It's horrendous, but got to deal with it.
Yeah. So one of the things I thought was really interesting, Eric, and I told somebody this. I said I think it's great they're doing this, but I also think you guys were a little crazy to do this. This idea that you one of your menu items on the website that you would perform a song for somebody. Obviously this was all with the price tag point. You would record with somebody. Who in the band came up with this idea, and how was that? I mean, I can't imagine. I was laughing. He'd be like, these three great guys, and just for fun, we'll say, and then a schmo from Kansas City named Jamie just like zooms in. Like, how did that work? Like, I know you've done some because I've seen people share them. How was that?
Well, I've got to say that has been one of the highlights of all of this. Truly, is getting to work with other songwriters or people that have a specific, or they have an idea in their head and they want to record it, or they want to sing things and have us sing on it. Whatever the case is, it's been just a shot in the arm, really. Um, and it's celebratory in nature. I think everybody has a good spirit about it, and we've had nothing but, so far, uh, wonderful results working with truly gifted people. So um, I think Roger brought the idea to the table. I don't quite remember, but um, at least since we're isolated here, we have home studios. It's uh, it's nice to be able to hear somebody else's vision of something and just put your head there for a while, and your heart too. And it's been great.
No, it seems like it's fun. I think it would take a lot of courage on these people's end too. I mean, you guys have very long storied careers with, your resume is long, Eric, with a lot of great acts and a lot of things you did. Like that takes a little bit of cojones to say, yeah, I'm gonna, jump into that fray with those three guys.
Well, I mean, I'm just glad that I feel fortunate that we have fans to this day that follow what we do, and I feel honored to be on someone's recording. I mean, provided it's serious and organized, there has to be something there.
Yeah.
And we don't get somebody singing into an iPhone normally. I mean, I suppose if we liked the song, we would deal with it, but uh, it's all been positive.
That's great. I mean, it's probably one, like you said, the pandemic sucks, but this would have never happened if we had not had the pandemic. You guys would have rolled this album out in the normal way, interacted with fans in the normal way. Nobody would ever even thought of this.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Gang of Four song, "Silver Lining." It's just there is a silver lining
Yeah.
about the whole thing, really.
So let's talk about your fans, because I think that's a really good segue. So I've been aware of you since '93 when you came on the second tour. And I think people that are into you guys, whether it's your solo stuff or with Jellyfish or whatever, if they're into you, like they're really into you guys. Like people are like super into you. So I am sure you like it, but do you ever like wonder like what is it about me that these people are like so into me? Or is it just like this is cool that they're so into me?
Uh, Again, to me, it's a blessing. I try to be grateful for every moment and every fan, and the passion that people have for the music that we've all either together or collectively been involved with. As far as thinking about what is it, not really. The only thing I can say that we loved we have a passion for it too. We're sharing that passion together. So hard work and dedication, and trying to improve upon yourself, or whatever your contribution may be. Um, that's the only secret I know, if there is one.
No, that's great. Well, I'm on the Jellyfish fan page on Facebook and I don't post a ton, but it's kind of fun, just things. So I actually did this also with when I interviewed Jason, because I'm always like, well, what do people want to hear from these people? So if you, I'm not going to read all of them because people really wanted to ask you a lot, but are you game for me to ask you a couple of these that are just kind of fun?
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
So the first one actually is not from the Jellyfish. This is one of my friends that's just as big into all you guys as I am. He wants to know, and he's a physician out in LA. He's actually a surgeon out at UCLA. So you might get free surgery someday if you need it from this guy, because he loves you. So I hope you don't need
Yeah,
it.
no, we'll talk later. I've got a lumbago. It's driving me nuts.
He'd do it. He says, ask him, meaning you, if he feels, and he put in parentheses, as I do, that the scream on the bridge of Spider is one of the greatest screams ever in rock, right up there with McCartney at the end of Backseat of the Car. So,
wow, that's awesome. I'm well, I would agree too. I was just trying to do Jesus Christ Superstar there. I like going for that timbre, but wow, and that's a really high note. So I thank him.
I re-listened to it because I had listened to it a lot back in the day, but I was like, I need to re-listen to it. So I did. And did you guys spell Spider with a Y because of Neil Giraldo, or what was do you remember why?
I just wanted to, spell it different.
Right.
I mean, that was it. Everybody started playing with letters in their titles in the 80s because of Prince, like
right.
I would die for you, you know. So and being a Prince fan, that was always natural. Like, yeah, let's put Y in there, and instead it'll just pop better, like.
No, totally. A fan, his name is DC Daily. If you would, please ask him if he has any intentions of putting out a solo record, if there's any chance the Licorice Quartet doing any live performances, and what your 3 favorite guitars are that you own. That's a lot of questions. So.
Oh, okay. Well, a solo record, as far as an Eric Dover record, I guess it's always been Sextus for me. Those records are kind of my solo records anyway. And I won't get into the music business, really, as far as, hey, Columbia, Eric Dover solo record, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out. I'm just, so that's kind of where that stands. What was the other question?
I wanted to know if you guys will do live shows with Licorice Quartet.
Oh, live shows, yeah. Unfortunately, live shows right now are kind of off the table, and they pretty much were from the beginning when we started this, because of the fact that we're all very busy touring musicians or whoever, and so it's never been in our cards to hop in a van and go to Spokane and do a show at a rock club like we did when we were kids. I wouldn't rule it out, but it just never was our intention. In the right context, perhaps we would do a show here and there, but to be a full-time touring thing is not really going to happen.
Right. Kari Hurley wants to know your best music-related advice and best advice for life in general. Also, tell him we require more Sextus.
Oh, I forgot to say about the guitars too. My favorite guitars.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I just, I'm kind of ADHD. My favorite guitars are my '78 Les Paul from the Jellyfish tour, Spilt Milk. My Butterscotch Telly from the same Jellyfish tour. And what else? Oh, that's it. Right, 2. How about that?
That's fine. That's fine.
And
your best advice in life.
Carrie. Best advice in life. Never give up. That's pretty much it. When life beats you, knocks you down, regroup, get back up.
Totally. Jellyfish is such a weird thing. Do you like talking about it? Are you tired of talking about it? Do you think it's, I mean, it's everybody, every musician that I know, we're all huge fans. And it's, you know, it's a small, I think you and I are about the same age. I was born in 68 and you were born, what, 67? I mean, we're really close in age. And for your lifespan of work, this is a really small portion, but people are really passionate about it. So what do you feel about that?
I'll always be grateful to have been a part of it. Um, you know, combination of luck and having enough natural talent to be included. Um, you know, I can understand why people are so passionate, though. It certainly flew against uh, the climate of what was going on at the time in in such a so overtly and so expertly done. Um, Pretty much from the second Jellyfish released Belly Button, every musician in America, uh, you know, their heads exploded. I think. I mean, mine did. Um, so I don't know. Just maybe that's the way things, the universe operates too. Maybe it just pulls like-minded people together or something. Um, just glad that it happened. Really.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I can physically remember getting the copy of Belly. I worked at the college radio station and I got a copy of it, you know, CD because it's 1990 and being blown away. It was so different than, you know, it was like the tail end of the heavy metal, kind of the glam rock stuff, and right before grunge really took off. So it was like completely different. And I loved it. And it's one of those things you can listen to on both albums over and over again and you hear things. Um, anyway, so I could see why you were a fan first before you joined the band.
Yeah, I mean, I was in bands too, and you know, we had a. I guess we were into a similar mindset of just like guitar-driven uh, pop, sort of like Big Star, and you know, just simple rock, some Cheap Trick. You know, um, Matthew Sweet at the time, I think, was big.
Yeah.
You know, so
He's from
Alex
my high
Chilton was
school.
another one. Oh, he is
Yeah, he went, my sister went to high school with him. I,
awesome.
yeah, small world, man. So,
There was the World Party record, you know,
yep.
another one. So we liked a lot of that Anglo sort of jangly, boxy sort of vibe. Um, so tonally, I like the Replacements too. I thought they were an amazing rock band, and uh, you know, they weren't quite doing Jellyfish just did it so differently than anyone else at the time that you know it's kind of yet to be replicated too. It's sort of I want to say uncopyable in a way, which if if an artist can do a record like that that's unique to his sole imprint, you know, meaning Andy and Roger in this case, um, then you can't top it. It's like going, "Hey, man, I know this guy. He sounds better than Jocko." Like, no, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, not at all. Did you, so all this, when it happens too, it's pre-internet. So did you know going in, like all the Sturm and Drang from the first iteration of the band? Were you aware that, you know, Jason left unhappily? Did you know any of that? Did you care? I mean, what was your feeling?
Well, my feeling was I didn't pay attention to any of that because I was such a scared kid, really, and trying to get my parts right. Uh, as far as getting into the whole story of everything, of course, I experienced some of that. Um, it's just the dynamic of four creative people getting together. But I look at those years, or you know, that span of time is well, you just learn so much. You know, it's like having a supercomputer plugged into your brain. You're almost incapable of knowing how much information you're really taking in a way.
And I think it's interesting too. So you guys, obviously, the three of you are working together now and are friends, and that's, you know, it's been 30 years almost. I know Jason and Roger do stuff with Beck, and so they still talk and stuff. So for the most part, there's been some really cool. I think everybody gets so focused on the Andy dynamic that they kind of don't think about all the cool music that we got from all you other guys so much. And it's so amazing. I enjoy all of it.
Well, I mean, you know, Andy is such a supreme talent. I mean, I can't say enough of, and it's just the family. Everybody's on, I think, on some kind of level of understanding with each other, the legacy of what this music has left, you know, and I think it's in a healthy way. Um, so yeah.
That's great. I'll say one last thing and then we'll wrap up with I want to talk a little bit more about your current stuff. So I think one of the best barometers of how good this stuff is, and one of the things that just really blew me away from watching you play. So there's this, it's up on YouTube, which is, you know, YouTube, some things are great, some things aren't. But the cool thing is there's all this stuff from you guys playing. And this is this 2-meter sessions where you guys are doing an acoustic set. I don't know if you remember this at all, but you know, you could put up on YouTube, the sky is blue, and somebody's going to be like, no, down, like, because people just love to be contrarian. But this thing's up there for a while. There's 247 likes or 249 likes. There's not a single dislike. And you're playing on that. Your acoustic playing. It's so hard to play parts that were written for electric guitar on an acoustic guitar because there's no sustain. It's just amazing. I was blown away the first time I saw it. Do you remember any of that?
Yes, I do actually. Really, my first kind of taste of Japanese culture too. Just well, being in Japan for the first time, there's that culture shock to begin with. But it was wonderful, and I remember that piano sounding gorgeous. The studio was top notch, and the staff were amazing. Like everything was measured to a T, and so I knew it was going to sound really good. So yeah, that was a very special memory. I actually go back and listen to that one from time to time because it sounds so good.
Yeah. No, you do the She Still Loves Him guitar. You do the solo on that. Like I said, you know, I've played guitar for 35 years. That's not easy to do on an acoustic guitar and make it sound great. And you do it.
You know, yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, acoustic guitar is so different of an animal. You know, you really have to think differently. I think you know, I wish I could play it again. You know, maybe I could expand upon the theme or something, but who knows? As good as it is.
No, it's great. So besides, obviously, you got your new Licorice Quartet thing coming out in the next month, 4 new songs. What's the next 6 months to a year looking for you, Eric?
Well, to continue working on getting well, the Licorice Quartet, at least getting through this cycle of promoting it. I'm working on another Sextus solo record that should be out when it's going to be out, whenever I get a minute to address it. I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. So
yeah, the next 6 months. I mean, I'm kind of been doing some session work for people, and that's hopefully going to continue. And the rest of the time, I just you know, listening to radios and putting up antennas and stuff. Being an old man sitting around in the backyard.
it's nothing wrong with that. I'm at the age now, well, we're the same age. Isn't a nap that you're not expecting like one of the nicest things ever? When you're not trying to nap, but you're like reading a good book or something, and you just nod off for like 20 minutes, and you're like, God, that felt good. Like, it's not like when we're in our 20s, right? It's funny.
I thought that was narcolepsy. Oh, okay.
Maybe so. Oh, it's funny. Well, I really appreciate the time, Eric. I could talk to you all day, but I want to be cognizant of your time. I will be sure to put up in the show links all the clips for Licorice Quartet, obviously, to the website, so people can, you know, buy it if they wanted. I saw one of the things you guys are doing. You can go on a record store buying excursion with you guys. I assume you're aware of that.
Yes, I am. Well, and you know, thankfully, Amoeba has opened back up in a new location, which I haven't had the opportunity to visit yet. But
yeah,
when I get you know, $300 to go blow, because that's what I would spend in there, easy.
Yeah, you a big vinyl guy, or does it have to be vinyl?
Yeah. Yes, I love vinyl. I collect every medium though, so I collect cassette, VHS, any digital DAT tapes. I mean, anything that's an old medium, I kind of try to keep some kind of setup on it.
Yeah, I kept all my albums, and then my dad actually was a jazz trumpeter, so I have all his jazz albums, like first run. So it's really cool. Like he had over like 300, and
Oh yeah,
it's such a cool, tangible thing to put an album on and listen to it.
I love it. I do love it. But then I'm like, I'm a tech head studio nut. You know, the pursuit of the sound is wonderful with vinyl. In a way that maybe other mediums don't. Maybe reel to reel, but reel to reel and vinyl, you're like, yeah, give me that.
Totally. As we wrap, last question: any good Kansas City memories? You've had to play here a million times.
Barbecue,
Yeah.
like the best barbecue in the world. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been to your fair city in quite some time, really. But they've all been good memories. They've all been pleasant, and everyone, all of the fans, uh, whether it's Jellyfish or Imperial Drag or Slash, any of our fans through that part of the country have been amazing. And I hope to be able to see you all again one day.
No, I would love that. My the Foo Fighters played here last night, but it was my wife's 50th birthday, and as much as I love Dave Grohl and all the boys, wife outweighs Foo Fighters. Happy wife, happy life. So I threw her a surprise birthday party instead. But I miss live music. I miss live music. I got to see Living Colour here about a month ago because they were part of that Summerland tour, and I had not seen Living Colour since they opened up for Steel Wheels, the Stones, in '89, and they're just as good as they were 32 years ago. It was awesome.
Yeah, they're exquisitely talented. It's good to hear the legacy acts still bringing it hard too.
No, they were
they bring it, like, oh boy, yeah.
No, he hasn't lost anything vocally, which you can't say that for a lot of guys that long of a career.
Yeah, some people you can hear, oh, we're not doing 440, we're going to, 438 here.
Like drop C.
It gets a bit ridiculous after a while, but I ain't gonna name any names.
No, it's great. Well, I really appreciate the time. I'll be sure to send you the link when this goes live. And when you ever do make it back here, I'd be happy to take you out barbecue, and we can go see some great local music too. So it's been a joy. It's a blast to watch you play and sing, and I've enjoyed you for a very long time. So I really appreciate the time.
Well, thank you, James. I appreciate you, the chat and everything. So
all right,
I'll take you up on that barbecue.
Oh, I'll buy. I'm happy to. So every person on the podcast gets to pick their opening song and their closing song. So when I introduce you and do the outro, it's totally, it can be Licorice Quartet, it can be you solo, Sexist stuff, it can be Imperial Drag, it can be whatever you want. Artist gets to pick.
Oh boy.
I know it's like picking children.
Oh shit. I don't even think like that, but how about what you're working with for the opener music, because you can loop that if you needed to.
Okay.
And it's real peppy. And then a closing number, maybe oh shit. The end title from Doctor Strangelove. Okay. We'll meet again. Yeah.
I like that you're jumping right into this, both feet.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah. There's like I said, there's no wrong. It's like anybody plays, it's funny. People ask me, and, I have people say, I can't pick, and I was like, well, I don't want to play your whole album because I want the whole idea of the podcast. I want people to hear this and be like, hey, I want to run out and buy that album. Right. I don't want people to be like, play the whole album. Like, I don't need to buy it now. I heard it. So I'm like, I don't want you to say these are your two favorite songs. I just want you so people can get a taste, but I love what you did.
Sure.
I think it's funny.
Well,
it's perfect. Why not?
Maybe you can talk over it, like make a big grand, going out, well, broadcast too. Like I'm kind of more into the technical end of it. because I'm also a ham radio uh, license holder too. So I'm really into broadcasting, like transmitting, and love that stuff. I grew up around friends that were DJs back, when I was a teenager. So it was always going to radio stations, and um, so
No, I totally
broadcast
get it.
journalism, it's right in there.
No, it was a great way to still get paid to listen to music, was what I thought.
Oh yeah, certainly. That's what we did.
I was no
We sure
dummy,
did.
but it was actually
Oh
really,
no.
Johnny Carson was an alum from Nebraska. So we had a lot of really cool equipment because he gave the journalism college a shit ton of money. So we had really cool stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Have you got an RE20? Is that your microphone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the mic, baby.
Yeah, I'm
For
nerding
real.
out. All right, brother. All right, I'll let you
Right.
go. I hope you can make it sometime, and it's been a total joy, Eric. You take care of yourself, right? Be careful, man.
You too, James.
All right,
Talk to you
buddy.
soon.
Take care.
Bye.